Welcome back to Passing Time with Craig. As always, I'm your host, Craig, and today we've got a big show for you. We got 3 guests on from the Alberta Standardbred Racing community. We have drivers Nathan Sobey and Mike Hennessy, and Josh Murphy, who is the assistant racing manager at Century Downs Racetrack and Casino and does the broadcast there. And yeah, we're going to chat all about Alberta Standardbred Racing, the harness racing that happens there Fridays, evenings, and Saturday afternoons. We're going to talk about how much fun it is to go out to these things, why people should go out to it, and what's it like to be a driver and race different horses in a day and in the weekend. So it's a lot of fun. It was great chatting. Nathan was on last year, and it was great to have him back, and it was great to have Mike and Josh on with us as well to chat all this fun stuff and what's the world of standardbred horse racing, harness racing like. So please enjoy my chat with Nathan, Josh, and Mike. Well, thank you guys for being here today. I'm super excited to chat with you. Nathan, welcome back to the podcast. You were on last year. Josh, Mike, thank you for joining us today to chat. We've got a lot of chat about, you know, right now, as we were just talking before we started recording, it's kind of crappy weather out there. It's winter number 50 for 2026. But we're thinking positive. We're thinking about summertime and spring, and there's so many great things to do. One of them being going to Century Downs to watch these harness racing. So, Nathan, let's start with you. People know horse racing. They know different types of things, but explain to people what harness racing is.
So most of the time when you tell people you're involved in horse racing, you know, they think of the little fellas riding on the back of a horse. I think I said that last year too. We are completely different. No, I am not a 5 foot or 4'5" Hispanic that weighs 100 pounds. I am actually a 210-pound white male that sits behind the horse on a sulky. So a little different. We sit behind them, pulled by carts. Instead of a field of 14, there's usually roughly, I guess, 9 of us out there at a time, and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, and it's standardbred versus, thoroughbred, I think, is the type of horses people always kind of know. But what's the difference between those types of horses?
Essentially, it's just kind of the racing term. Standardbreds are, you'd have to go back, and I could give you the real definition, but I'd have to look it up. But, essentially, thoroughbreds, you got the guys riding on their back. Standardbreds were being pulled by, they're pulling a sulky with us sitting behind them.
And so, Josh, how did you get into all this? Like, you do a lot at the track. You do the broadcast there. When did you get in? Like, was horses just always part of your life? And were you a fan of racing before you really started broadcasting?
Yeah, I started at the track in going when I was a kid out in Vancouver and out in Cloverdale, the Fraser Downs, and Hastings. I grew up out in BC, and I'd go with my dad, and I really got into it in high school a lot. Was kind of the reading the program and kind of the gambling handicapping side of it that I found very interesting, and all the numbers and data and just kind of how it's done and trying to figure out who's who and who's going to win this race and why, and all the reasoning and all what makes it such a fun gambling game. And then I started out at the track in Hastings when I was in grade 12 and worked out there being both breeds. So Hastings is thoroughbreds, or I should say was thoroughbreds, and Fraser was standardbreds, and worked out there, and then moved to Edmonton in 2019 for the opening of our sister track up there, Century Mile. And I've just kind of done whatever's kind of been presented to me, but that's how I kind of got into it, was always the gambling handicapping side. That's where I didn't grow up around the horses. I'd go as a fan, and that's kind of how I got into it.
Yeah, and we're gonna have to chat about that because I think there's so much crazy aspects. Every time I go, I'm trying to learn more and more. I have friends teaching me, and sometimes it's working, and sometimes it's just like go off the name. But we're gonna touch on that in a little bit. But first, Mike, how did you get into racing? Like, were you always around horses, and then did you know you wanted to race them and do this stuff with horses?
Oh yeah, I'm a 3rd generation harness horseman. My grandfather Owen would have been one of the guys who actually got it going out here in Alberta however many years ago. And my dad, he's a future Hall of Famer, probably should be already, but we won't get into that, you know. But yeah, no, so I'm a third generation guy, always been around them, spent a lot of my summers and everything working at the track at a very young age, and just kept going. Always knew I was going to end up there. Probably didn't help my schooling much, you know, knowing where you were going.
Yeah.
You didn't need it, but you know, no, I've always been in it and always knew I was going to probably head towards it.
So third generation, do you feel, obviously when you're in any type of sport, you're in a competitive sport, you want to win, you want to have some victories, you want to do some stuff. Are you constantly not just trying to beat everybody else, but also beat your father and your grandpa's like records and scores?
Not really. It actually doesn't really come to mind. It's more just trying to beat who I'm up against each race or each meet, even if you're somebody in the running for the title getting towards the end. I usually pay very little attention to the stats in general until, you know, usually if there's something worth hearing, somebody else will start telling me about it. So I kind of just ignore it, and then you find out later on in the meet, oh, okay, now I maybe need to start see if I can dial this in and get this done, you know. So that's the only time I usually pay attention to those type of things.
And Nathan, is that kind of key? Do you find that for most drivers, you're just focusing on the task at hand, or do you have it always in the back of your mind, what's going on? Or is it just like, hey, we're here today, we got this match, let's do this heat?
Yeah, I'm a lot like Mike. You know, you kind of take it race by race. I don't look at statistics. There's only one number I look at. That's my bank account. The rest is kind of exactly what Mike said. You know, if there's a number coming up that actually means something, someone's gonna mention it. I don't need to go looking for it.
Yeah, and so Josh, we mentioned how you got into it, this like the gambling aspect, the stats. There's so much, you know, you look at that program. If it's your first time going there, you get the program, you open it up, and there's just numbers upon numbers. There's bigger ones that are the odds. You've got all these other things going on with it. Someone's coming to the track for the first time. What's kind of your suggestion for people who want to maybe place actual bets, or maybe just want to start off making side bets with their friends, whatever they want to do? What's kind of your advice when people open up that very daunting book?
I think the main thing is kind of, if you really want to learn, I think you play it a little bit differently. It's kind of like almost any gambling. If you really want to take something seriously like poker, I mean, anyone can show up to a poker table and play a couple times a year, and there's nothing wrong with that. Or you really want to get into it, and there's books, there's all that. But I'd say if you want to really get into it, you probably want to find a couple angles to start, a couple easy things to look for that you can get really in depth. But like a few things is the class level of the drivers, I'd say, are probably two pretty important things that drivers, especially in standardbreds compared to thoroughbreds, a driver makes a big difference. In thoroughbreds, there's better and worse jockeys, but I don't think it's quite the same discrepancy where a bad driver gets on to compared to a good driver. That's a big change and is going to attract a lot of money. And then class level, I think that's easier said than done, but trying to kind of figure out horses, there's basically a class ladder where everyone fits. And if you've been racing against Outford, now you're getting relief, and that's kind of another thing. And I don't know, to say here, post position is important, that the inside posts, kind of the inside five, are definitely better. But horses have been racing out at 7 or 8 with regularity. I'd look towards one that's getting some relief, but there's just kind of a few basic angles, and once you kind of start to get the hang of those and look for them, then you can kind of add on them. But that's a good initial starting layer. I think at least get you pointed in the right direction of other races.
And I mean, really, when it comes down to it, if you have no idea, everybody always says, go with a name that really sticks out to you, whether it's funny or inappropriate, whatever you think it is.
Yeah, there's lots, and people have fun, and I mean, it humbles you every day. You can go in and read and think you know exactly what you're looking at, and something completely different out there happens, and someone can show up and bet 2, 4, and 6 because they like those numbers, and they hit something and have a great day, and that's the fun of it. You can kind of approach it in multiple ways, and we have people that are really into it, study for years, and other ones that, like you say, pick a name, pick a color, pick a drive, whatever it may be, and they're happy and can do well doing that. So it's cool for all people.
Yeah. Now, so, you know, harness racing, it's the driver and the horse. It's a 2-person team, a 2-creature team. How important is that relationship ahead of time, Mike? Like, how much time are you spending with that horse before you're going out there and making sure that you're both good with each other to dominate or just win or just have a good race?
I don't. A lot of time I just jump on one that for the first time ever right before, right? And you got enough experience, you kind of got a good feel of what kind of animal they might be like from there. Then you just got to be able to read the program and figure out where they need to be placed and not put them in positions that they don't do well if you can help it. Sometimes you have to give them a chance, is put them in a position they don't always want to succeed in. And then sometimes they surprise you, they get the job done. But for a relationship with the horse as a catch driver, like I don't see them all week long usually. And when I get on them that day and go, sometimes you've built a relationship up with them through racing.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them you need that because there's some sort of idiosyncrasy of them to like getting them to try or figuring out what's best to get them to succeed. And then others you can get on them. You're like, oh, this is good to go. We can, let's rattle this one along and get the job done.
Yeah. And you guys are doing, you're not just, there's several heats in a day. And it's not just you're doing this one lap around and you're done. No, you're getting other horses. Is that at all a factor when you're doing it? Does it help you, Nathan, to have multiple ones in a day where you really get into a groove, or do you like a little bit of a break in between? How does it work? What's best for you?
For me personally, like I don't get as busy as guys like Mike and Brandon and our newcomer Drew Campbell, and I don't get as busy as those guys. I kind of focus on my own. It does help, I guess, if you're out there more frequently. You look at other jurisdictions where, guys are racing 7 days a week. It definitely benefits them. But for here, I would definitely say when you're out there 10 races a day, 12 races a day, you kind of get in a roll. But I also find too that for me, if you kind of start on a snide and you kind of get blanked the first half of the card, it follows you towards the end of it. So, like we touched on earlier, it's a keen ability being able to kind of turn the page after each race. So I don't know, for me personally, I'm fine with having a little bit of a break in between, especially, being a little older and beat up now. So
yeah, it's kind of like you said, it matters what flow you're in. If you're in a good flow, you just want to keep going. Let's get back out there, and
exactly.
Sometimes that good energy almost transpires into that horse, and some horse, it's a long shot. Now you're picking him up and he's doing good. But if it's the opposite, sometimes it's all right to maybe have a race off and get a reset. But the one thing I will say though, like if you're out there lots in a day, a lot of the time you get a way better feel and read on what's working out there that day. If it's a day where like off the pace isn't working great, or if the track's a little dead, so the front end's coming back to them, like those type of things. If you're out there a little more, you kind of get a better feel on if it's working or not that day.
So you must have to quickly, you as you mentioned, Mike, having a horse that you maybe don't have a relationship with, you're just jumping on and we're doing it. How quickly do you have to switch going, okay, this is what we're doing with this horse? Because it is like if you happen to have back-to-back heats, or even just you're racing in heat 1 and then number 4, like still not that much of a break. How quickly do you have to go, okay, no, this is what this horse needs to do, this is what I need to do? Like you must always be thinking.
Oh yeah. You might have had a game plan at the start of the day, program, and then the races start, and it's like, well, that's probably not going to work today. Do I still go with it and hope it works, or do I, try to make an adjustment? And then all of a sudden you're behind the gate and you look to the left, and the two on the inside you thought would hang you aren't going, so then you leave out of there and go. And now all your plans have changed, like it's we think about it, from before the races to like just before the race, and then you got to continue on thinking as soon as you're behind the gate, because things can change. All of a sudden the favorite makes a break behind the truck and he's off stride and he's way back there, and it's like, oh, maybe I can steal this, let's go. So you're always changing your plans. You gotta have more than one.
Yeah. And Josh, I mean, as the broadcaster, you have what you've got the stats, you've got what seems to make sense, what should happen, and all of a sudden something else is happening, or there's a delay, or somebody's switching out, or a horse is missing. Like you have to also be like completely. There's no double takes of this.
My main thing is a lot like Mike and Nathan, but in different ways. That I just for us, I mean, when we're on the front side looking at it, there's kind of a perspective of how we think a race is going to play out, and obviously you pay attention to the day that, like Mike said, from a driving perspective, oh, the speed's not holding up, so horses that might have been favored in that race that, oh, this one was going to be on the front end likely, okay, maybe you downgrade him a bit, or you notice that Nathan's won his first two or three drives on the card, and all of a sudden now, okay, he's seeing the track well today, he's putting his horse in the right spots, and maybe upgrade a horse based off of that. But I think you kind of come in with a tentative plan of just kind of what you expect, and the people, the horses, kind of what to somewhat expect, and then there's some outliers kind of every day to factor in. You go off of that,
and people can go. So we've got right now until the end of August. We've got the Saturday afternoons. We got Friday evenings as well. We've got some Wednesday ones happening as well in the summertime. People can come and they can get used to like these drivers and these horses, and they can start to get some ideas, right? Like Josh, they can really get to sense of, okay, this one just has not done well all season.
Yeah. Knowing the horses makes a huge difference. I mean, that's anywhere that just following the circuit that you might know that, oh, Nathan's horse Matt's Mystic, and he might be in a little bit cheaper today, but the horse has back class and he's been freshened up, and he's a better horse in this field. It's just if he's kind of back to what he was doing last summer, he's probably going to win this race kind of thing. Or you might know that, okay, Blue Star Mercury, the Mike's driving, that horse has lots of ability. Maybe he's fallen on hard times, but this is even from the 8-hole last week, he's a horse that could get a piece of it with the right trip. And just knowing kind of horses and trainers and tendencies and stuff, and just having a good grasp of, because the horses aren't the same all through the course of the year, and they'll go hot, they'll go cold. I mean, some are more consistent than others, but just having a general understanding of the levels, the horses, where they all fit in that, and just having a good grasp on that makes it easier to kind of approach each race when you have a bit more background on everyone and everything involved in it.
Yeah. And how, like, are the horses doing, Mike, are they doing Friday and Saturdays, or is it different horses sometimes? Like, how is it kind of dependent on how the horse is feeling and doing themselves?
No, they pretty much only race once a week.
Okay.
Horses, and they'll get a week off here and there too. Matters the horse and quality, but yeah, and it matters on themselves. Like I think a lot of time gamblers are up there and they see some favorite stop and they're like, what are they doing? But it's like, okay, like horses get sick, man. Horses have injuries too. And like, there could be an ailment they're working through or that just arrived. And that's why they stopped that day, So really it comes down, they're the athletes. So if the athletic ability ain't there that day or that week, it's up to the trainer to kind of spot that and maybe not enter them or get them in and give them an easier way around the track that week. And hopefully have them better for the next one.
Yeah, Nathan, when you were on the pod last, we were chatting about how well taken care of these horses are, and how, I mean, yeah, something happens to a driver, okay, we'll just throw another driver on there, but these horses, like, this is where the money is. Just talk to us about how well taken care of these horses are.
Well, there's a lot of people in this world that would benefit
better than us.
They would benefit from the type of care that these animals get. We make sure they're fit. We make sure they're healthy. They're sound. Every little thing that could go wrong with these things, there's someone there to take care of these issues. It's remarkable. From the farriers like Mike, the vets, animal nutritionists. These things are they receive the best care. Like I said, if humans were to get this type of if they were looked after this way, we wouldn't have near the health problems that we do.
I was gonna say, when you die, like, come back as a horse. Like, that's what you want to be.
They
100%.
They don't wait like months for an ultrasound or like an MRI. If we want one, we get one.
Yeah.
With horses.
Exactly. I wish I could follow my own program that I could take care of myself the same way I take care of a horse.
Like somebody portioning your food.
Yeah, exactly. I could back away from the food trough a little bit. Oh man, no, it's No, these animals, they're very well taken care of.
Now, Mike, talk to us about what it's like to be in like doing a race, like going around that track, sun shining, the horses are going super fucking fast, people cheering you on, you're in the back just letting this beast of a creature, this amazing athlete do this work and take you for a ride. What's it like on that?
Oh, it's a great feeling when things are firing, like there's and it's actually like, I don't know, for guys who've been out there lots, it's not that the adrenaline doesn't really pump that easy, so it takes some special moments or horses or incidents to really get you into that part. But it's a great feeling to be out there, especially on a sunny day when there's a crowd. Like when you turn for home and you can actually hear people cheering, it's a pretty good time. And like that's why we really enjoy the days when we do get the big draws. And even though the odd time it might spook a horse, it's worth it, So no, it's a great feeling to be out there and just combined with an athlete. Like some days are a little tough, but they just make you appreciate the better ones later on. They're always coming too. The good ones are always coming. Just don't feel like it some days.
Yeah. Are there times where you go into this race and you're like, I think we're gonna do all right. We'll do fine. And all of a sudden, like, oh crap, we just fucking killed it.
Oh, definitely. There's those, and then there's the complete opposite too. Like, oh, this is probably my slam dunk of the day, and then it's like, oh, what just happened? But no, those ones are a lot of fun. The ones where you don't expect them, and say you end up circling the field at big odds or something, and it's just like, how'd this happen? And usually it takes all the other horses to have a bad day, but hey, I'll take it, even if that's what it does. So
yeah, that's fair. Well, so you mentioned having this crowd, getting people out. I think some people don't realize how close Century Downs is to Calgary, but there's always stuff going on there. Not only like can you just go eat, you can play in the casino, but there's always great stuff going on. We got Kentucky Derby Day, which is happening. We got Libation Fest. There's always stuff going on. Josh, talk to us a little bit about the experience people can have by coming to Century Downs.
The year, especially in the good weather months. I mean, that's kind of our bread and butter, kind of kick it off first Saturday in May. Cinco de Derby is kind of the day with the Chihuahua races, and as well as the Kentucky Derby, as well as our live racing. So everybody's crowd out for that. Dog race is always amazing how busy they get. Credit to them, their places packed for them. It's impressive. I prefer the horse race, but people come and love the dog races. It's another fun part. And just kind of in general, like we always kind of have some like mentioned libation. One day that's always big in Packwood Brand.
Yeah.
One might stop and look around it's the day seeing everyone really likes driving in, that there's thousands of people out. It's kind of our version of the Kentucky Derby where people are dressed to the nines. There's a bunch of drink sampling, food, cigars, luxury seating. It's kind of just all kind of a big fancy event, and the atmosphere with music and people. It's a really cool day. I think that's kind of everyone's favorite days here. Really a buzz when you're on the front side that day, just the crowd. But any given weekend, there's basically always some kind of special event, but there's also tons of places you can be on a deck and get like a picnic table kind of thing. And there's food strip up there, so you can stare to get a good beat, some bike going. So it's kind of serious seating for everyone. But that's the best kind of spot is on nice on the Friday days, Saturday days, one of the secrets. All it's right on top of the attic, up the way, big game. You can get here, you can like reach out on the fence and you're keeping nice post too, but that's how close you are. Needed to stick with it. And it's a unique experience.
Yeah, and again, we're getting to the races start in the evening at like 6:30 on Fridays, but we're getting to sun being out for the whole time. Like we're getting the nice weather, and then Saturday afternoons starting off early in the day. Like people can make a day of it, and it's family friendly. You can bring the kids to go watch it, and just have a blast. Like I get it's tough to want to not be in, or it's tough. You want to be outside doing stuff. So this is a great opportunity to go and see something, and be outside in the stands and have drinks. You know, there's plenty of drink options. There's delicious food. You can make a whole evening or a day of it. And Saturday, look, we all love a day drinking day. You right? That's the best way to do it.
And it's free to watch, not drink.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's just it, and it's free to watch. And again, it's every weekend. You can go to it, you can watch it, and you can take your time. You can listen to Josh on the broadcast and talk to your friends and learn about how to make some bets, but you don't have to bet right away. You can take your time and then figure it out and then go for it and go big and then, hopefully win big. I have not won big yet. It has not helped me out, but that's what happens when I listen to Tiffany.
Can I say, don't take her
come
advice.
empty their bank accounts
Yeah.
and put them all on Nathan to win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bet on the fat kid. That's yeah. You should stop listening to Tiff. I know. The track is kind of not the best place for someone with a gambling addiction and an alcohol problem like she has. Especially now that they've come up with this the winery there down by Bourne. I can't remember.
Oh yeah,
the
City and
name,
Country.
Yeah, they're bringing in canned wine, so I know that she should probably avoid that, given how much she likes to indulge.
She's texting us right now as she's listening to this episode. She will be texting us.
Probably, yeah. She's but she'll be texting us with a glass of wine or some kind of
Shotgun in a wine can. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
She'd pull something like that.
But yeah, there are, City and Country Wines there, which is a Calgary winery. Bourne has the Get Lucky beer there. Like, you can support local. You can do all this great stuff by going to the track. And again, it's not far to it from Calgary to get there. And there's shuttles that often happen. Like, we have one on May 2nd going up to Century Downs from Bourne Brewing. There's always fun things to do. People listening to this, Mike, what is your advice for them to kind of get into this? Like, if they're coming up for their first time, what do you want people to know about it?
Oh, one, that it's free.
Yeah.
And that you can come watch it for whatever that you don't have to pay. And just come enjoy it and come back. Really, like, get up here with your friends, maybe start a little show parlay where you're just trying to pick a top 3 finisher in every race through the day and keep pumping the money together and see how far you can take it as you have a few drinks and enjoy the time, because it's worth coming to. I hear from lots of people that they had a great time at the track, and the tough thing is you always ask them, did you come back? But a lot of times they didn't. But just remember how good it was while you're there and come on back, because it's a good time. People at the fence rarely seem like they all want to be there. They're enjoying it, right? So,
yeah. Nathan, what's your favorite part about being in this community?
My favorite part about being in the community?
Yeah.
Being driver trainer rep.
Yo, 100%. That is my favorite thing to do. I just come home and I'm so thrilled with all the constructive criticism I get through the day, all the things that are going so fantastically well. I would say the kind of the family aspect of this business. We're all competitors when we're out there, but I'd say when the racing's over, we're kind of just one big dysfunctional family. Probably my favorite part of it.
Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah, when the culture's good back there and the camaraderie's good, that is the best part. Sometimes before the race is even starting, people are starting to get angst and angry at each other or anything. There's some pretty good laughs and fun amongst the boys in the dressing room before time usually. Sometimes after, but sometimes not. Sometimes not so happy.
Yeah, kind of depends on how the day went for that person.
Yeah.
Oh man, days of
if
our
everybody
lives.
got a piece, it's okay.
Days of Our Lives has nothing on the Chronicles of the Backstretch. Let me tell you.
Yeah, because you guys are all, in those barns. You're all getting ready. You're facing off against each other multiple times in a day. You have this rivalry that you got to have fun with, but also sometimes you're just like, now's not the time to chat with me, man.
No, you can always chat with me. You just might not have the nicest chat. That's all.
It can be a strange dynamic, with all your friends out on the track. You want them to do good, but you kind of want to do a little better yourself. Yeah. It's a different way of going about a sport for sure, in and out, and you kind of play for a different team every time you're out there, or quite often throughout the day. Different trainers, different barns, whatever. So one guy that you might be like giving a rip to in one race, you might be driving for him 2 races later or something. So sometimes you got to keep those things in mind too. So
That is very true.
It is very soap opera how there's all these different relationships and it's just
or you give a guy a rip and then you go look at the program and he's got the rail and the next one and you wanted to go to the front and it's like, oh dang, maybe I should have been nicer.
yeah.
We can't all live our lives like old Chris Brown and just kind of show up and exist there. Go out with
amazing.
just he's so good and he's just not there. Wheels spinning, hamsters dead.
As we start to wrap up here, Josh, what can people kind of expect about this new season at Century Downs? What can people expect to come out? Why should they come out for it? Why and what?
Fix your audio before you answer that question, boy.
Oh yeah, you're just a little.
Still can't hear you. Now you sound like you're in a barrel.
I'm literally, I haven't touched.
There we go.
I have no idea, but overall, the main thing is Fridays is a new time slot for us. So we were racing Wednesdays last year. We have a few Wednesdays scattered kind of in May and June this year, or I should say June and July, actually, early June to mid-July. But kind of our prototypical week is Friday nights and Saturday afternoons. So I think Friday nights is something we're really pushing. We got track lights put in before the start of last year, and so that'll kind of give us a flexibility. Obviously, as we get later into the summer here, we're not going to need them a whole lot, but it still gives us that kind of Friday night, kind of a bit of a different vibe. And then we got kind of our Saturday afternoons, which is a little bit more family oriented. You kind of see a lot more groups of younger kind of families and stuff come out. They can't come Fridays, but I think overall, kind of our big push is to kind of really work that Friday night this year and kind of introduce a different way. That's the best part about the sport. You can bring a family with a bunch of young kids, so it's a couple can come in, a group of all the kids. It's inclusive to everyone, and depending on what you want to do, you can show up and you can have $1,000. You can show up and bet $2, or you can just come in and watch and have a beer, and that's fine too. And it's really open to anyone. So I think that's kind of a big push is going to try to be getting people out, especially on Friday nights, and then Saturdays are kind of big event days. So we have all that info on our website with whether it's libations, fest, any of the dog races. We got drivers championship. We got a lot of things going on Saturday. So regardless, there's going to be something going on every weekend. But I think those Fridays could really take off. And I'm excited about it.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, like you can make this as expensive as you want, just like any other day out, evening out. Like you don't have to bet $100. You can bet $2. You can do whatever you like, but it's a great time to go out. It's a lot of fun. And you just get to see this stuff and maybe witness something you never got to see before. Some people have only been to the Stampede and only seen like the chuck wagon races or stuff at the rodeo. This is something kind of different and something you can go. You don't have to pay all the money to go into the Stampede and then pay money to go see that. You can just go up and watch these at Century Downs, which is a lot of fun, and get closer to the action and get to cheer on and see Mike and Nathan possibly crush it or maybe shit the bed that day. Who knows? It's always
both in the same day. That happens often.
Yeah.
Can go from zero to hero real quick.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Or
That's
the other way around.
That's what's fun about it, I think when you think about going to like a hockey game, basketball, football, there's ebbs and flows. Team, as we mentioned, halftime, they go back and they're like, get their head in the game, or they've just been crappy the whole time and they can't get out of it. But that's kind of what it's like for you guys as drivers, is that you can have like some really off ones, and then you go in for your next race and all of a sudden you're just you're crushing it.
Yeah, just some bad shifts,
Yeah.
Don't always know how the shift's gonna go when you jump over the boards, but sometimes the puck ends up on your stick.
Yeah.
That's wide open, right? Like that's kind of the same when you're driving a lot of races. It's almost like shifts, but you can't really treat it that way because you're driving for different people each time.
Yeah.
So you gotta try to be game on every time you're out there.
Exactly. You're starting. Doesn't matter how you did it in the previous one. This one, you're just we're giving it all, and we're gonna crush it. Well, I appreciate you guys all taking the time to chat with me today. I'm really excited for everybody to go check this out. We had you on last year. I've gone to it past couple years. I love going up to the tracks. It's a lot of fun. It's a great time. Family, friends. If you're looking for Friday evening, something to do, Saturday afternoon, whatever it may be. And of course, as Josh mentioned, you can go on the website and see all the different events that they have going on. But thank you all so much for being here today. Big thanks to Nathan Sobey, Josh Murphy, and Mike Hennessy for coming on the podcast once again to chat about Alberta Standardbred Racing here. Century Downs, lots of fun stuff going on. As we kind of mentioned there, on May 2nd, you can get a shuttle from Bourne Brewing in Calgary all the way up to Century Downs, and it's there and back. Plus includes your first beer at Bourne, a beer at Century Downs, $5 betting voucher and race program, and VIP reserve seat and trackside at Century Downs. It's a lot of fun. We did it last year, and I'm glad we're doing it again. I'm going to be on there, so you should definitely check it out. You can get those tickets through Bourne Brewing's website. That day was also Kentucky Derby Day, so they're going to be screening Kentucky Derby for you. And as mentioned, Chihuahua races, a lot of fun stuff. You don't want to miss out on this. And check out Century Downs' website for more information. Like Josh mentioned, there's something going on almost every Saturday. But yeah, other than that, follow me on social media at PTW Craig, Passing Time with Craig on Facebook and Instagram. A lot of fun stuff coming up this summer. And as you've noticed, a bit more episodes coming out on the podcast because there's things to do. There's plenty of ways to pass time. Otherwise, we'll chat soon. Bye.